SQL joins with LINQ. So now in SQL Server, when we write the query, like whenever you are willing to fetch the data from more than one tables, so we write there joins query. So if the similar queries you are willing to write using the LINQ, so how we can write? So first of all, let's understand what are the various joins we can write here using the LINQ here. So we can write here the query for the inner join, group join, left join, and the cross join. So these are the four types of join are supported by the LINQ here. If you will look at the group join, you might be getting here new because it's not available in the SQL side. But here it is just a nesting of collection. So when there is a let's say parent collection, when you're going to get the child collection also, so that type group join will help you. So now let's understand each type of join here separately in detail so that you have the idea how to write the query for the inner join, group join, the left join, and the cross join using the LINQ and the LINQ pad. SQL inner join with LINQ. So let's see how we can write the query for the SQL inner join by using the LINQ syntax. So here I'm using the LINQ pad 6 and I'm using the same entity framework core data access layer. So let's create a one more tab for the query. Let me save it with the name, let's say inner join. And if you will look at before writing the query for inner join, let's understand the relationship between the tables. So we are having a customer table and we are having a order table. So customer having the orders here. So you can see there is a customer ID here and there is a customer ID here. And there is a relationship also between the customer and the order. So you can see it's connected with the orders here. And this order table is connected with the customer also. So between customer and order, there is a relationship. So these two tables are connected to each other using the primary key, foreign key concept. So now we can write the query for the inner join here. So let's start writing the query for inner join. So I'm using here from C in customers. And for inner join, we use only join here. And then write here the join table O in orders. Then mention here the join condition. So join condition would be here on what is the common columns. So it is here customer ID. Then there is a equals. So equals is a keyword here. We never use here equal operator as we use in SQL. Here we use equal keyword for equal condition here when you're writing the join condition using the LINQ. Now here use O dot customer ID. So this is the join condition we have mentioned. Now let's mention whatever the columns you are willing to select from both the tables. Don't mention here in the select clause. So I'm using here C dot customer ID. I'm using here, let's say C dot company name. So it is a company name. I'll make sure spelling is correct. Company name. Let's pick up few columns from the order table also. So I'm using, let's say order ID. I'm using here, let's say ship address. So these are the two columns I'm going to pick up from the order table. Now let's execute the query to check the output. So you can see here I'm getting here the properly data. I'm getting here customer ID, company name, order ID, and the ship address. If you will look at the generated SQL, you will get to know it's a complete inner join here. So whenever you are writing the query in the LINQ pad, always look at the generated SQL to get to know how this syntax is going to be converted into the plain SQL. So by looking at this generated plain SQL, I get to know it's a inner join query. So it is perfectly written with the help of a LINQ syntax, and we have perfectly executed here using the LINQ pad. Sometimes it happens you need to write the inner join query between more than two tables. So let's say here I want to get the shipper information also. So if you will see, there is a ship via property in this order, and the similar way in the shippers table there is a shipper ID. So the ship via and the shipper ID we can use here to get the information about the shipper company. So I'm putting here one more join here, let's say join. This time using here shipper as in shippers, then do mention here on, it would be here o dot ship via, then use here again equals s dot shipper ID. Let me fetch here the shipper detail also as dot company name this way. If you will look at, it's giving us the error because already we are having the company name from the customer and now it's again a company name from the shipper. So if you will look at, this is a anonymous type and this anonymous type already having the same name of property, company name. And the anonymous type internally behave like a C# class object, and a class cannot have two properties with the same name. Same thing is happening here. We need to change one property name. So let me change here this property name as shipper name. Perfect. So this way we have just handled the ambiguity between the columns in anonymous type. This error you will not get in the SQL side, because in the SQL side we are having the different rules, but in the C# we are having the different rules. So make sure when you are using the anonymous type, so make sure each column or like each property name is unique. Same thing we have done here. Now let's execute the code to check it how it is working here. So now you can see here I'm getting here the shipper details also. So you can see with each one I'm getting here shipper detail also. So this is the way how we applied the inner join now within 3 tables. Now there is a one more case. Sometime it happens you need to mention more than one columns in the join condition. Let's say I want to get the customer and the orders based upon the customer ID as well as based upon the country. So if you look at between the customer there is a country, in the order there is a ship country also. So what we can do here, this country and this ship country we can mention in the join condition. So just do one thing to simplify it. Let me copy the same query that I'm putting here for a reference. Let me write a new query with the similar setups. So when you are willing to compare more than one columns in the join condition, we need to create a anonymous type here actually using the new keyword. So I'm using a new c.customer ID, then it would be a c.country and country. Similar way in the right hand side you need to define here new, it would be here o dot ship country. So this is the way we have created here two anonymous type, one for the customer and one for the order. Now let's try to run the code. I'm sure it will give us the error. It is already showing the error. What the error is showing to us? It is showing that it's a incorrect join clause is incorrect. The join clause is incorrect here because these two anonymous type must have same name of properties as well as same type of data for each property separately. So if you will see here, there is a customer ID and the ship country. So this ship country name is not matching with this country name. So that's why it will not work. If you will try to run it, the same error you will get as I'm getting here. So what you need to do here, both the anonymous type must have the same name of properties. So what I'm doing here in the ship country, I'm just changing the name by putting here a alias. So this is the way how you can create the alias here for the country. But make sure this country property and this ship country property having the same data type. If you will look at ship country is string type and country is also string type, perfectly it is working fine. custom ID is string type, and custom ID is string type. Now it should work fine. So you can see here it is working fine now. To verify the query, let's have a look at the SQL. And the SQL, now if you will see, it is using here customer ID from the customer table and order table, and country from the customer table and ship country from the order table. Both it is mentioning now. So this is the way perfectly it is working here. So this is the way how you can mention the more than one columns in the join condition. Sometimes it happens, let's say data type might be mismatched here. Let's say there is a here, let's say employee, let's say it can be the case the employee ID is integer here, let's say customer ID is string. So need to do here typecasting. Sometimes need to do typecasting here explicitly. So that is also the way you can do it here. But in the LINQ, we cannot use any typecasting methods. So whenever you need to do typecasting here, I'm suggesting here, use the implicit typecasting like this way. So this is the syntax you should use always whenever there is a requirement to do typecasting. So here it is not allowing me, but here it will allow, like here. So this is the way I just using here implicit typecasting. This is the way. So don't use the methods here, use the explicit typecasting method string this way. But here typecasting not required, so I'm just removing it. I'm just telling you for your understanding. So whenever there is a requirement for typecasting, don't use any type conversion method. That will not work because that method alternative is not available in the T-SQL. That's why LINQ to entities is not supporting the method label typecasting. Use here the style of typecasting as we use in C++ and the C language. So this is the way you can use it. Here you can apply the filter also. If you're willing to apply the filter, I can apply here filter, let's say where, then I can use, let's say C dot country equal to UK. So C dot country equal to UK. So we applied the filter also. Now let's execute it. So now you can see I'm getting here filter also as country UK. And if you will look at the result also, I'm getting here only from UK now. So this is the way how we can use the inner join with filter also, and with the more than one condition, and among the more than two tables here. Group join with LINQ. So when you're talking about the T-SQL, and the T-SQL we don't have the group join like concept over there, but in LINQ we can have the group join also. Let's see how we can write the query for the group join so that you can understand it. So we already written the query for the inner join. So let me close these queries here. I'm just going to close. Let me save in one more query here with the name, let's say group join. So group join is just like we are having a nested grid. So let's say I'm just going to fetch the data from the customer. Now here in the nested of the collection, I want to fetch the orders also. So what the query I can write here from C in customers, then I'm putting here join O in orders, then mention here join condition C dot customer ID, then equals O dot customer ID. And for group join, you need to use here into keyword and define a variable name. Let's say I'm using here GP. So here GP will contain all the orders information about a particular customer. So this is the way how we have written the query for the group join. Now to fetch the customer along with the orders, we can use here select clause. Now use here C dot customer ID. I'm putting here C dot let's say company name. And now to get all the orders as a group, I'm using here GP here. So here this GP will contain all the orders as a group, or you can say as a nested collection. Let's see. So if you will run it here, I'm getting the error. If you will look at the error, you will find out here. This is might be a bug or limitation of Entity Framework core. So the thing is here in Entity Framework core, the group join is not working. It is a limitation of the Entity Framework core. But if the same query you will run with Entity Framework 6.x or like with LINQ to SQL, this will work fine without any issue. Let me show you here. And instead of using the connection for Entity Framework core, let's change it with the SQL Server. And now in the SQL Server, I need to do few changes here. So there it is capital T. I just change the connection from Entity Framework core to SQL Server. Now test it. If you will look at, I'm getting the data here properly. So in the link pad, you can change the connection here. So I'm having here two connections, one with SQL Server, one with Entity Framework core. So in Entity Framework core, group join having the limitation, but here it is not. So you can see here I'm getting here this customer ID orders as a group. The customer ID order as a group. So it is looking like a collection having a nested collection. So this is the way how you can write the query for the group join here, which is perfectly valid in Entity Framework 6.x. Right now it is having a limitation Entity Framework core. Let's see in future whether they will remove it or not, but it is not working in Entity Framework core right now. SQL left join with LINQ. Now let's see how we can write the query for the SQL Server, or like say tsql left auto join. So I'm already having the link pad 6 with the Entity Framework core. Data XLA connection is already made. So now just create a one more link tab for the query and then save the query here. Let's say named as left join. And we already written the query for the inner join. Similar way we need to write the query for left join. So this time we will write the query for left join between customer and the order. So from order table we will fetch all the records, and from the right table we will fetch only the matching record. So let me write the query from C in customers. Again use a similar style, join O in orders, then define the condition here. So condition would be here C dot customer ID equals O dot customer ID. So the same code we have written in the inner join also, but now it's a different. So now for left join you need to use an into operator, into, and then define an intermediate variable. Let's say I'm using here into GP. So this name can be anything. Now we need to query this GP intermediate variable further to fetch the data. So what I can do here, I can write the query here further for fetching the data here from G in GP, then use here a method default if empty. This is the way. Now write the query here select new, and whatever the values you are willing to get, just mention over here. I'm willing to fetch here C dot customer ID, C dot company name. I'm using here G dot order ID and G dot let's say ship country. So these are the columns we are getting from the right table and we are getting from the left table. Now let's execute it. So you can see I'm getting here output. Now let's have a look at the generated SQL. In the generated SQL you can see I'm getting here left join. So this is the way the query which we have written. It is as per the left auto join in the SQL. If you want to apply here a filter, so here also you can apply the filter using where C dot country equal to UK. Now let's execute it, and you can see I'm getting here filter also here, and result also it's going to be changed as per the UK country only. So this is about the left join. You should know. if you are using the link pad, like if you are using the link. So now the similar query you need to just copy from here, put into your code and start using with your ASP.NET Core like Entity Framework Core code. And guys, here what are the queries I'm writing here? These are perfectly valid for Entity Framework 6.x also. There is no difference when you are using the Entity Framework Core and the Entity Framework 6.x when you are writing the query for the link joins. These queries are perfectly valid for Entity Framework 6.x also. CrossJoin with LINQ. So when you're talking about the CrossJoin in the SQL, so it is a Cartesian product of both the tables. So it means we get the result from the both the tables as we have the Cartesian multiplication. So now let's have a look how we can write the query for the CrossJoin using the link here. So I'm having the same link pad. Let me add one more query window, then save it here with the name CrossJoin. And this time I need to write the query to fetch the data from customer as well as orders. I'm using here Entity Framework Core again. Let's say customer and again use here from O in orders. This time no writing here any condition because in CrossJoin we don't have any condition. You need to write it as it is. Then select the column which I'm willing to select. So I'm using here C dot customer ID and then O dot order ID. And now let's execute it. And this time you can see here I'm getting here Cartesian product. So if you look at the customer ID ALFKI is repeated multiple times here. It is going to repeat it actually at the same number of records as we have in the order table. So you can see it is a Cartesian product. So let's say if you are having 4 customer and the 3 orders, it will be here 4 into 3. So we'll get total 12 rows as an output. So here what are the rows we are having in customer? It would be customer total rows into order total rows. That would be the final number of rows in your output. So this is the way how we have written the query for the CrossJoin also. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please do share with your friends and the colleague, and also do subscribe to ScholarHead YouTube channel and click the bell icon so that the information about such video you will get automatically.